Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Wrath of Van Helsing, also known as Van Helsing, and this 2022 film was directed by Soner Meaton and stars Michael Hoad, Antonia Williams, and Daryl Griggs, among others, of course. The story of this movie is about these four ladies who go on this hiking trip through this nuclear waste site in the UK because they want to check out some tunnels that are around the site. So they go to the tunnels, and then it turns out there is some vampires and maybe even demons in these tunnels. So of course they get kidnapped, and then their parents hire Van Helsing to come and save them. But what will happen exactly? Well, you have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, this is a Jagged Edge production movie, and they make, one B movie every month coming out of the UK, so this is kind of no different. They definitely have that British setting at the start, but they very quickly go into these tunnels, and I actually really love the tunnels. I thought they were so cool with all their graffiti and whatnot. And I actually had to keep looking at them because I could not tell at the beginning if it transferred to a sound stage or something, because the lighting was a little bit tricky and stuff where I couldn't really figure out where it was coming from sometimes. So I thought maybe there's not a wall where the camera is, but that was just something fun. My eyes like looking for that type of stuff. And I actually did enjoy the environment. It kind of reminded me of this video game called Vampire the Masquerade. And in that video game, they have different types of vampires. And one of them is this hideous vampire who lives in the sewers and tunnels and that type of stuff. And so I thought the environment there definitely set it up to have this type of vampire where it was quite hideous once you saw it. And that I thought was very clever, very interesting. So certain things like that definitely work for me. And speaking of the lighting, I thought it was generally good. Definitely sometimes, like I said, I couldn't really tell where it was from. But, they do use lots of blues and purples and reds to kind of give it this retro type of feel to it as well. So all of that works to give, this atmosphere of these tunnels, and that's great to see. Other than that, I thought the makeup was really good for the monsters and stuff. However, they could not move their mouth really, so it didn't really match up to what they were saying. But they look good, just, their mouths weren't really working. So that is something that, I don't know, I'm going to put in the good category. In addition, by the end, there is some action when Van Helsing comes and gets these girls. And that definitely works. It was pretty exciting. He has a crossbow and he just is very trigger happy with it. So he's just shooting everything the second he sees it. He also has a samurai sword as well. And so by the end, when you do see the action, it's actually quite a bit as well. So all of that also works. Let's see, anything else? I did think, there are a few chuckles in this movie. I don't think they, can take themselves too seriously anymore. So they have a few chuckles here and there. Whether it's intentional or not is something else. But it does provide for, just a fun watch, an entertaining watch, something that you can just go along with and have some fun with. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, I'm not sure if it's just the version I watched, but there is some sound issues, specifically with the dialogue, because they're recording these scenes, but the characters are at different distances. So the people closer to the camera, their lines get picked up perfectly, whereas people farther away are, faded when they say their lines. And so that comes across in the film as well. I'm sure they could have done something, but as it stands, there is some sound issues like that. I actually had to put on my headphones just to really kind of hear everything as well. So that can be a problem. In addition, with the acting, actually most of the acting's pretty okay. However, with the Van Helsing character, he is like a robot going around. He's just a vampire killing machine. He's done this for so many years that he's probably lost, any emotional touch with other people. So I'm not sure if it was the direction or the actor's choice to do that, but it is kind of robotic that way. I would have loved to have seen him with some more passion, and maybe he gets some enjoyment or whatever out of killing these vampires. But as it is, yeah, he's kind of a robot. So if you are, looking for Oscar-winning performances, maybe not in this one, but it's definitely not that bad overall. Other than that, I thought there were a few story issues that didn't really make sense to me. Like, for example, these ladies go through a nuclear dumping site. I'm just like, why would you even attempt to go through the nuclear dumping site to get to these tunnels? That didn't really make sense. What else? Oh, the parents know about the kidnapped girls, but it's never kind of shown about how they find out. It's just kind of like, oh, I assume they're kidnapped. I don't know. And so there's a few things like that where, don't think about it too much. Just go along with it and you should have some fun. But there are still issues nonetheless. So who would I recommend this movie for? Well, if you like vampire hunters and vampires, this is an okay watch for you. It's definitely entertaining enough, for someone like me just to go along with the story, kill some time with it. So yeah, check it out if you want. As for rating, I gotta give it the okay score of 4. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.